we go. All right. Well, welcome home, man. How was your trip out to the Midwest again this year to Chicago?
The trip was a rocky start. I had a lot of travel issues, but we persevered. My lost bag made it the next day, so we had clothes after that, and after that, it was busy, very busy. But I had a good trip, got a lot done, talked to a lot of people, bought some cool stuff. Overall, no complaints as always. The National is my favorite show of the year.
That's good. A rough start. So lost bag. No, nothing missing from the bag. I hope.
No, my lost bag. So I carried on all my cards, and then my lost bag was exclusively clothes. Now it was unfortunate because like a lot of it was like good clothes. I went a little different this year. Not that I was I would call them I guess nicer clothes. Like I was wearing more like just like stuff that's like you would maybe like wear on like a casual Friday to the office of like a nicer shirt and like some chinos or trouser pants. So like
Sure.
nothing like super nice, but like I was wearing more of that and less like shorts and like a random shirt. Now I did that on one of the days. I wore like one of my Bubba shirts, but outside of that, it was a bit nicer. And I wore my like nice walking shoes every day, so nothing too crazy. But
Solid.
um, yeah, outfits were looking good. That's
So
for sure.
real quick before we dive into all the fun info, if you had to rate this year's experience, because you've been to what the last three, four. How many have you been
I've
to?
been I've been to 21. I skipped 22 in Atlantic City because it was too far. And then I've done 23 through 26. So I've done 21, 23, 24, 25. 20, I've done five.
So out of the five, how did this compare to the previous years?
Um, it's hard to say because I think every year I enjoy it more for the talking aspect to people, but it's also counteracted by there's more and more and more people showing up that buying cards is a lot tougher.
I've heard
Um,
that.
I I think I will always in my heart say my first national in 2021 was the best, even though I was there for a single day, just because it's your first one and you're very overwhelmed. I made a very memorable pickup at the time for myself. Um, I would, I'm trying to think. My, a lot of the Chicago ones kind of just end up blending together, if we're being honest. Like I started going for like most of the days in 24. Like in 23, I was only there for like 2 days. But then from 24 on, I was there most days. I would maybe skip a Sunday here and there. I would say that I didn't like Cleveland, but that's more so for the fact that I got sick going into Sunday and felt like shit.
I remember that.
Um,
Yes, I remember that.
but I did really well that show. But I would say this one was my favorite just because like every single year you meet and know more people. So like every single time you go to a show like this, you can meet and talk to more people you know, which I always love. So for that reason, I would say this was definitely my favorite. Now, my favorite buying, potentially, I bought some decent stuff, but there's nothing that is like. I mean, maybe there's one card that might be memorable for me, but nothing like my 2021 when I bought my 2020 Sapphire Orange Portrait of Charles Leclerc. Like that for me was just
Right,
like
right.
that's the card I'm gonna remember. My first big national pickup ever. So
Solid. Well, that's a good one to pick up. That's a solid. That's a
yeah, I
solid
mean, I ended
card.
up moving it. I moved it, but I made good money on it. And like, I just remember like that was like most of the money I had at the time. It was like $800, and that's what I brought to the show. And I was like, I want to get this card, and I did. And for that, I loved it for that.
Solid. Yeah, obviously Cleveland. That was a good. I think that was a good time overall. Until we both. I think we both felt like garbage after that. We were so busy.
Yeah,
We were trucking.
I think you got sick the day before I did. Like, I think you got
I
sick starting Saturday, and then I got sick starting Sunday
I
of
started
that
I
show.
started getting that migraine like Saturday afternoon, and it just like built and built and built all day long, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm good. But there was a lot. The Cleveland shows obviously was so it's just everything is everywhere. Versus where I feel like
Yes.
Chicago's a little more compact or easy to get to where you're going,
Yeah,
per
the
se.
location of the locate I'll say this, I the outside venue of Chicago is easily like infinitely better than Cleveland. Cleveland might have been the worst of all time when it came to that.
Yeah.
But I think this is not a surprise. I think the show has outgrown the Rosemont Center. Um, so that'll be interesting.
Well, we all knew at some point it can't be back there again in 2029 or 2028 or whatever, because the next year is in Detroit, right?
So I believe next year is back in Chicago, and then
Again?
then it goes to Detroit in 28.
Wow.
I think it's back in Chicago in 29. I don't know if the venue has been.
See, I thought 27 was Detroit, and then it was coming back to Chicago, but maybe that is right. Well, they can't stay in that convention center. It's too small. They need a bigger venue. Like, where else can you put it though?
They've started putting people upstairs, and like it's funny. The upstairs actually I think has like some of the better dealers and vendors. The issue is the rows are too small and it's impossible to walk around.
I saw a video of a guy. He's like, if you're not here an hour before, you have an hour to shop up here, and then it's done. And then there's just you can't move.
Yeah, I'll give them a little grace because most people still go downstairs. Like if it's, I would say after 11:30 to 12, upstairs is unwalkable.
Like, yeah, that's what I was seeing.
I bought a big cart upstairs at like right at that 11:30, right when it was starting to get busy. However, the one row I was in was like, for some reason, like it was like in the middle of everything, so it was like a bigger walkway that was like actually like what a walkway should look like. And as a result of that, like I felt okay buying and making that deal, but all the other rows absolutely not.
I feel you. So what was I gonna say? So it sounds like you had a great time. Who did you get to see? New friends? Did you get to see the old friends? I know last year we met a whole bunch of people that we all kind of were hoping to meet up with, but what did this year's roster look like?
I met a ton of different people. I know I'm going to forget people, so I won't try to name everybody. I'll just touch on a few highlights that were good for me. I got to see my On It athlete guys again.
Oh, good. How are they doing? Are they pumping out boxes left and right?
Yeah, they're great. They recently got bought by I forget his name, Serena Williams' husband, the one that's really into it.
Oh, that's was that Trove?
Yeah, I can't think of what.
Find Your Trove or something, Trove Collectibles or whatever.
I can't think of it, but like it's good. They've all been positive of the takeover. They are kind of spinning up product again. They've been, leaning into which I think is smart a little bit more. They're still in football, but they're leaning a bit more into like college baseball and college softball because there's no products in other sports.
Sure.
So they've been doing that. They've been going into retail. That was a good one to talk to. Let's see. I talked to some of the new Panini NASCAR guy. That's gonna be most of this podcast.
And that's Andrew, correct?
Yes, correct.
Good. Yeah, out with Misha, in with Andrew. I think everybody is on board for that. So that's special. I'm excited to hear about that. Again, I wish I could have gone this year. I feel like this would have been the year to be there, especially to get the information from the right people on the right things. I really feel like I missed out on that from what I've seen so far, and I haven't even talked to you yet. So I'm sure I'll have a little even more FOMO after we talk. But from what I've heard, the minimal amounts from what I've seen is some of the displays were just, they went over the top this year. They had race simulator stuff. They had bigger displays, bigger aisles on the main floor. So what did you go hunting for? What was on your list to find for you this year? Like what was on your list of I want to try and buy?
So I obviously anything high in NASCAR I'm looking for. I didn't go in with a list this year because I don't know. A lot of like it's when you buy high end NASCAR, you can't go in with a list because it's kind of just like whatever you find, you're kind of gonna buy. So I didn't go in with a list. Two pickups that I really enjoyed, where I bought the 2024 patented penmanship Kyle Larson Black Finite 101 auto. I bought
really
that was fun. I got that at what I think was a really good price.
You don't have to tell me on here, but I'd love to know offline if you're willing to share. That's interesting. Was it graded or raw?
No, I bought it raw.
It's 2024 penmanship.
Yeah, and I'll give you a rough idea. Because I'm in it for under $500.
Wow. Okay, they were giving it away. Classic national pricing on NASCAR. Love to see it. That's a deal. That's a great deal.
I'm probably gonna end up moving it just for some more PC funds. But
I might be interested in trading for that for some Bubba if you're interested. I'd go heavy on some Bubbas. That's right up my alley. That's what I've been collecting lately. So
And then another fun one I bought was I added to my 1977 Star Wars on card autos. I bought an Anthony Daniels as C-3PO.
Oh, nice to match your Luke. You bought the Luke last year, right?
I got the Luke in I think late 24.
Oh, that was at okay, gotcha. That's right.
November, but like I got like a good photo of him. He signed it with the blue Statler pen, which is what I wanted. He wrote C-3PO inscription under it.
Oh, nice.
Signed it on a good spot. So it was one of those where it's like, this is the right time. I got it more or less kind of what the other ones are going for, but I think this is just a nicer copy.
I like it.
I bought that.
I like it.
Then I bought some other combo stuff with me and Will, but those are my two fun kind of, I guess,
cool,
if you quote unquote PC and irrelevant cards for this.
Did you guys rip any wax this year?
We ripped a few of the Topps EQL boxes that they released.
So you did get those. I was just going to ask if you got in on that.
I did. We ended up, we more or less sold almost all of our boxes. The only ones we ended up ripping, and we bought a few from other people walking out of the booth because they were fun, or we bought some WWE boxes because they were like the cheapest ones.
How much were the boxes in the EQL if you won the raffle? And then what were they going for secondhand?
That depends on what sport you had or IP, because they were all different. The highest and most expensive one was basketball.
Of course.
That one was right about $300 a box EQL price.
Really?
WWE was the cheapest. That you came in right at around like $150, $160 on WWE.
Holy crap! Wow. Okay, that's a lot more than I thought they'd be.
And then each box was a guaranteed 2 parallels per box, and the highest parallel was a gold to 50. So you're guaranteed gold to 50s or less. But what made the boxes so good is that the checklists were so small. Baseball was only a 50-card checklist, basically.
Oh, God.
Top prospects.
So the All-Star game?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of how all the products were. Star Wars was easily the worst. I would say it was the worst product in the sense it had some of the worst names. WWE was just a super solid product. Like, most of the top stars were there, and that's kind of about it.
Cool.
So yeah, they were fun rips. I ripped those and had fun. I didn't hit any like supers or anything, but I hit a red auto to 5 of like an NXT star.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I hit some decent stuff. Nothing that was like melt your eyes good like some of the other products were, but like I made almost every WWE box I ripped, I at least got money back on.
Oh, that's a win.
And even up to like I bought 1 or 2 WWE boxes like secondary for $220, which was the going rate. And then basketball, the going rate off the show, like if you bought it for $300, it was like $330 with tax and whatever. If you walked out of the Topps booth, they were on the final day, they were selling for $620 cash.
Wow.
Is what their going rates were for breakers that were paying you cash on the spot.
That's crazy.
Put outside the booth. So
yeah, so they're selling them for $1,500 on Whatnot, I'm sure. Lovely.
I think the going rate on Whatnots were probably about $750 to $900 for basketball.
Wow. Well, that's cool. It's kind of a different thing because for those that don't know, traditionally Topps, Panini would have wrapper redemptions where you'd buy boxes or cases and then wait in line. They'd cut the plastic off, and then you would get packs, and you could sell the packs, open the packs, etc. And you would have the same chance for the parallels and autos, but nothing was really guaranteed. You could get a bad stack, you could get a monster stack, a god stack. This seemed to kind of even it out a little bit more. And make it not so you weren't in line for 19 hours every day trying to redeem for your product or having to lug around a case of hobby boxes, which is not exactly light, all day long if you want to get it done in the morning. So that's kind of a cool thing they did. Did Panini have any silver pack options, or was there just no wrapper redemptions at all this year?
Yeah, Panini had their options, their silver pack.
Oh, they did do it. Okay, I haven't seen any silver pack videos at all yet, so I was just wondering if maybe
nothing really for me to write home about there.
They've never been that great. They haven't been that great since like 2020. So 2022, I think, is kind of the cutoff for them. But sweet. So it sounds like this was a monster year. You got some cool pickups, had some fun, made some money, didn't go broke, which is great. I'm most interested personally in your experience with the boys at the Panini booth, with our new rep Andrew, who apparently you mentioned earlier to me before we started he's back He's come back to Panini, right? He was here beforehand.
Yeah, he. I'm gonna get the year wrong, so I'm not gonna say like definitively, but I believe he was there for more or less kind of some of the works for Panini NASCAR and left sometime around. I believe it's 2019-ish. Somewhere between 19 to 21-ish. I believe it's closer to the 19.
Gotcha. So after Prime and Torque and all the beautiful boxes went extinct, I got it. Okay, good. Well, it sounds like he knows what he's doing. I know he made a post on Facebook, and we all had some comments. He responded to me and a bunch of other people in a very professional, efficient way, instead of deleting a post and running and hiding behind his mommy. So definitely a boost in the right direction. But what's I guess what's your first? Did you get any information on product line? That's really. Please tell me you got some info on what we can expect for scheduling and what's coming out, what's being replaced, if we're getting new stuff. That's really, it's always the unknowns that I hate. That's what I hate, not knowing.
Yeah. I can give you. I'm not gonna. I can give you the lineup for this year. I'm not gonna be great on exact dates because I didn't.
That's fine. That's okay.
I'm trying to think what's come out already. I think 26 Select has come out. I think Turn 4 is next. That's coming.
Turn 4 is next week. A Fodl comes out Thursday, and then releases on the 12th, and it is on time based on my invoicing today, so it should be on time. Curious to see the checklist. The checklist has been down on Panini for a week. The checklist generator has not worked for a week on the website, so curious to see what's on there. Obviously, last year was kind of lackluster. But with Turn 4, we do get the vertical Kavrooms with the driver, so very excited about that, and the gold versions, which is huge. And hopefully we get some good memorabilia. I think they heard us from last year and amped that up a bit. So excited for Turn 4. I actually have a couple cases coming, believe it or not. I actually got some this year, so we'll run a few breaks and see how it goes. But sorry, what else do you have for us? So Turn 4, and then where do we go from there?
We have Turn 4, and then we're going to Track Kings, which is a I don't know how familiar people are going to be, but this is kind of what Diamond Kings was in baseball. I don't even know if I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if that set is still a Panini baseball set.
There's Court Kings for basketball.
Okay, so it's the Diamond Kings Court Kings equivalent, but they're doing that for NASCAR,
which is the canvas. For those of us, kind of a canvassy. It's like a 35 point to 55 point thicker stock canvassy cards. We've had the Race King and Race Queen inserts over the years, but we've never gotten the standalone product. So I am curious because I think those versions are 2 autos or mem, and then 3 parallels, and then 1 additional hit per box. So I'm wondering if it's gonna be like Donruss, 1 auto, 2 mem with a chance for multiple autos, possibly. Did you get any info on that?
I didn't dive into the SKUs on it.
Okay, gotcha.
I do think the only thing I know from that is that the big chases there are going to be the blank slates and blackouts. I think they're going to be rarer.
Okay, cool.
Those are going to live there at least for this year.
Great.
As a result, and I'll dive into this in the future. I'll go through the whole product, then I'm going to come back to this point. Track Kings is replacing Prism for this year. I'm gonna come back to this point.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we'll get there. Definitely gonna need to get there. That's an interesting move. Is that a going away present from Big Mish?
From what yes, in that sense. But when I talked to Andrew, it's in the sense of like, hey, if there's enough demand, like they're very like willing and happy to bring it back. Like this is not like a
good.
I'm crushing this for good. And
yeah, getting rid of Prism would be wild. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It sounds like if there's enough demand, they'll bring it back in full. It sounds like an idea that they're tossing around right now is going back and forth between Select and Prism every other year.
Oh God.
But there's still like. He said it's still kind of early on them figuring some of that stuff out.
Sure,
if there's enough demand for Prism, they're just going to bring Prism back, and they're not going to worry about it.
I got you.
And then to end the year, I don't know which one comes first. I think most people know Immaculate is coming.
Yeah, I've heard that. I'm pretty sure that's been confirmed. Yep.
That's an open dare secret. Immaculate's coming. That's replacing, quote unquote, replacing NT, I guess, in parentheses, of a high end product. But also, we're not done. I think the big thing is that the rumors of them doing 2 high end sets are true. They're going to be coming out with Flawless as well. So
Wow.
I think,
Thank God.
and they're coming out with Immaculate and Flawless, and from what I've gathered, it's gonna be like, if you like, I'm saying this in parentheses, like the print run for what NT has been is gonna be split across Immaculate and Flawless.
Excellent. That's
So
what I like to hear.
that's, from
Good.
what I've gathered, that's kind of because, and they've said NT has gotten watered down. So like
It has. It's been terrible.
So they're both gonna be. They're both going to be high end sets. Flawless is going to be the definite more high end set than Immaculate, but they're both in that same, like, they're considered the high set type.
Hey, I'm good with that. For those that don't know, Immaculate is 4 to 6 autos, and then 3 to 4 memorabilia and 1 to 2 parallels or base. That's how they advertise it. Give or take one number on each of those for different sports. But like football, you open up a box of that, you're going to get probably 4 autos, 3 or 4 mem, and 2 or 3 base. And I think so. Impeccable has the gold bars, so we won't have that. But iMac has the. Do they have the metal plates? Is that correct? I believe. Immaculate, is that the one that has the metal plates for the case hit?
I believe Immaculate was.
I think that's what it is. So traditionally, those have had color blasts. They've had autographs. There's a peel front, low numbered hits. So curious to see how that product's going to shake out. Hopefully, it's on card. If it's a mix of on card and stickers, so be it. But hopefully, it's an on card product if it's replacing NT.
From what I've heard, it's gonna be on card.
Good. Okay. Good.
Both Immaculate and Flawless are gonna be on card.
Well, flawless. I mean, it has to. I mean,
Yeah,
that has to be. Yeah. Now, are we talking flawless, full board, diamonds, booklets, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, all that same stuff, or is it going to be just a boosted NT in a briefcase? Do you think?
I don't have answers for all of those. What I can say confidently is diamond cards are going to be there. He mentioned that.
Hell yeah.
So diamonds are there. I didn't ask about booklets. I believe the Emerald Ruby stuff is coming because he talked about there's going to be an FOTL.
Awesome. Good. So that's very good. I like that. That's very good.
And the green. Oh wait, sorry. I take it back. It's not Emerald. I can't. This might be an Immaculate thing. I might be mixing up the Immaculate FOTL and the Flawless one.
A FOTL on either, I'm good with. I'm okay. Yeah.
And the one he was talking about is like it's like a NASCAR style. Like all of the cards in the set are gonna have like. This is not gonna be a good comparison because it's gonna look way different. But I just want people to understand like roughly what I'm talking about here. There's gonna be like big like, do you know like if people with logo like baseball logo fractor where like the MLB logos behind it?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like that, but like there's gonna be like a big NASCAR logo behind the cards, and that's gonna be the FOTL exclusive stuff.
Sick. So NASCAR logo fractor. I'm in on that. I love that.
Like I said, I don't want to call it a logo fractor because it's probably just like a big logo behind them. But he said it looked really cool, and I take his word because he
kind of like a NASCAR crest, like a crest card. Like a logo crest.
Potentially.
Kind of like the F1 cards have, like they had the vertical ones this year.
Crests are coming to Flawless. There's going to be diamond crests coming to
Flawless. Lovely. Okay, cool. All right, good. Well, I think we're in for a treat regardless. I mean, it's really hard to screw up Flawless. Even if Big Mish was still in charge and we were doing Flawless, I'd have probably at least a 70% hopefulness, but I'm at like 99.9% now. So it's really hard to screw up Flawless. I'd be surprised if it's shitty.
I would say the biggest difference is that Immaculate. So between Immaculate and Flawless is when you're going to see the difference in the. You're going to see the. I'm trying to think the best way to say this. You're going to see the difference in opinions on how NASCAR should move forward. Is that's when the old management left and when Andrew has come in for Flawless. So
did he replace what's his face too? The other guy, the short guy, Jared or Jerry or Jared, Johnny. The guy with the glasses that was there last year. Remember him? Lucas. Yeah, son of a bitch. Lucas. I was off by a letter. Yeah. Sorry, Lucas.
Lucas is still there.
Good. I like that guy.
So he's basically just the spot that Misha was in is what Andrew is going to. And so the first set that Andrew had full creative control over, and including the sets and doing what he wants to do, outside of a few small tweaks that he wanted to do to Immaculate, is gonna be Flawless. Flawless is like
yes, good, great. So adios, Misha with Immaculate. Hello, Andrew with Flawless. I am here for it. Hopefully Lucas took that paper I gave him at the National last year and read parts of it, because if any of that's in Flawless, I'm in. I don't care if it's only one of those things. I'm buying it, and I'm buying it by the pallet. Boy, it's about time, man. It's about time. I hope there's Dale Senior cuts. I hope there's Old Legend cuts. I hope we've got. Oh my God, could you imagine a RCR diamond booklet with the Dale Senior cut auto in it? I can picture it right now, popping out of a briefcase. That sounds delightful, absolutely fantastic. So to recap, we got Turn 4 coming out next week. Track Kings replacing Prism this year. Prism may come back. It's not officially dead and chopped off the block, but for now we have Track Kings coming out. If you're not familiar with that, you can look up Court Kings, Diamond Kings for baseball and basketball, give you an idea of what that product looks like. It's a lot of splash art, a lot of canvassy looking cards, blank slates, and the blackouts, on-card autos potentially would be my guess. But it probably will be sticker if it's going to be replacing Prism, which is okay. And then Immaculate to replace NT, half of NT, and then the other half is Flawless replacing NT. Very excited for all of that. Now going forward, is this going to be our rotation, or did he leave the door open to, okay, well, maybe we'll, like you said, flip-flop with Select and Prism, or Track Kings and Prism, or maybe Immaculate's a one-year deal, a Flawless is a one-year deal? What little tidbits did he leave behind as far as that? Because like Prime was great, 23 Prime, we thought maybe it would flip back and forth with Chronicles, but we lost Chronicles in 23 and Prime in 23. And then I guess really, is there any other inklings that he gave us going forward, that products that might return, since he's from the OG NASCAR days? God, imagine if he brought Torque back or Certified, or, oh my Lord, the possibilities are endless. But did he give you any little crumbs for us to nibble on?
It sounds to me like they're. I would be shocked if Chronicles did not come back from what he was talking about.
Really?
It sounds like he was part of the original team that built the Chronicles, and he admitted himself he has a soft spot for Chronicles.
Oh, who doesn't? So, God, I love that product.
So whether people love Chronicles or hate Chronicles, it sounds like Chronicles. I don't know the timeline, but it sounds like Chronicles is a serious conversation that's coming back.
Fantastic.
And part of what he said, which I was like, okay, like, and I know that he's open to stuff. He was saying, like, and this was on the conversation of Select versus Prism. He was like, hey, like, if we're going back to Chronicles, or like, we're fine, like maybe doing an extended run of Prism within Chronicles, or an extended run of Select, like how it was in Chronicles, so like people can still get some Prism and Select in any given years. So I say that to say he's very well aware of like there being no Prism, and that like if that's a short-term stopgap solution to putting Prism into Chronicles until they figure it out, like they're fine. But it sounds like Chronicles is going to be something they want to do.
Sure, and what would be cool, just speaking out of my ass here, we've only ever had Prism Hobby, right? We've never had Prism Black, Prism Deca, Fast Break, I believe is what they call it for basketball. Mm-hmm. We've never had those either. So I'd be open to, again, and I say this to everybody listening at Panini, which I'm sure is about 2 people, probably -5, so 0. Give us a one-packer. Give us a one-pack. Immaculate's a one little box, but that's like NT. I wonder if this guy is smart enough to do like a Donruss Optic or a one-pack hitter. Like they could do NASCAR Fast Track Prism and make it a 12-card single-pack box with 2 autos, 6 parallels, a couple silvers, and a few base. I'd be ripping that by the case. So I think the horizon looks good, but love that Chronicles could come back. I'm sure Donruss will never go anywhere. That's their bread and butter. It's their moneymaker. That's solidified. They'll still be pumping that out after we're all dead and gone. Now, I am also, not to switch gears fully, I still want to stay on this topic for a second. But you've given us so much great, fantastic info on the product lines and the future of where it's probably going to end up going with this Andrew guy. Also, Andrew, if somehow you hear this, props to you. Glad you're back. Your Facebook post was fantastic. I appreciate you responding to everybody in a professional and accurate manner and not deleting your post and then trying to talk shit to everybody after the fact in a different group. Very, very good to see. But with Immaculate and Flawless and Track Kings and these new products, has there been any further talk, or did you get any? Is there any information shared about the possibility of improving the C and D tier drivers on the checklist, and the repetitive guys and the ones that we've all talked about? And again, no disrespect to these drivers, but they haven't raced in years, or they haven't ever been fit. They've never really fit into a product well, or necessarily, or if they don't even drive NASCAR per se. Was there any talk with these guys on that front at all, or does that kind of closed door secret still?
Yeah, they talked a bit. I talked to them a bit about this, and I think it's gonna be very apparent moving forward that they are taking a different approach to C and D tier autos. It's no secret that some of these autos just kind of have to be in products.
100%.
That's not like any shock there. But what he has described is, and what they want to do different is that instead of going for Kaz Grala's, Kyle Weatherman's, those likes of the world, what they are doing is they want to pivot and go get just like old, I'm not going to say old school, but like just go get names that like have raced in the Cup Series before that are probably just cheap autos.
Sure, I'd love to see more legends, other than Ned Jarrett and Kyle Petty.
So I say I'm gonna call them legends. Like I'm not gonna and when I say legends, like they are like in the
retired drivers, retired driver. Yeah,
like,
sure.
Like
sure.
He mentioned like they just got a deal. This one was kind of funny with Bill Lester. Like Bill Lester's gonna be a cheap auto.
That's awesome.
And some of the sets, like they got, and like apparently Bill Lester had like 60 fire suits, so he sent them fire suits to use.
Really?
I'm sure Bill
Oh,
Lester
dude, that's sick.
He'll probably have some like immaculate on card. I don't know if it's in this set, but like Bill Lester will probably have some like on card auto stuff.
Dude, I'm pumped. That's gonna be sick.
Out. He said like some part of the difference is that he would rather, and I'm gonna rattle off a couple of names here, but he would rather get guys to sign like Steve Park, Johnny Benson, Jerry Nadeau.
Yes, Jerry, your boy.
I brought up Jerry, but like he was looking to get those caliber of drivers.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Of the Kaz Grala's, because he was like, I mean, quite frankly, like no disrespect to them, but like they're going to be a lower rate, like how the Kaz Grala's are, and people are at least going to be like, hey, I remember that name from
hell yeah.
2000s. Like he wants to have a focus on like early 2000s. He was talking about wanting to try to get Jimmy Spencer.
Oh man.
They're trying to find Ricky Rudd, but apparently he's off the radar completely. Like nobody knows where Ricky Rudd is. But,
yeah, he's probably on a boat somewhere.
They're wanting to go for retired people in the sport who are like Elliott Sadler is somebody he mentioned, like names like that.
Good.
People in the early 2000s know these names, and like quite frankly, like are probably like if you're gonna pull a D tier auto, I personally would rather pull like some of those guys.
I wouldn't even put a Johnny Benson or a Lester auto in. That's Lester, not Laster. Lester. I wouldn't put them in the D. I would put that in a high C for me. That would be a fun pull. It's new. It's somebody established. They at least race NASCAR at some point in their life, and it's something we haven't had, and it's on a new stock. So I like that. That sounds great. I'm all about adding the retiree level or the quote legends, whatever you want to call them. That's always a plus, I think, for me.
So then going, and this is going to get to that point, though, and how they are after this year viewing the difference between immaculate to flawless. Is that, I mean, like it's like some of the guys, like the big names, are going to be in immaculate, but a lot of like the lower tier immaculate autos you've gotten in the past are going to be like some of these guys. Like you'll get. I'll bring up like you'll get like a Ryan Newman, Penske Altel on card auto. Like they're looking for more stuff like that in immaculate, or like a Johnny Benson or a Bill Lester in immaculate.
Sick.
And then Flawless is what they're considering their best of the best uber high end set without those
Good.
boosts.
Good. I think that's how it should be, and I like that. No, and of course, Flawless is still going to have, you're going to have one or two squeaking in because the checklist can't be 40 guys. So for those listening, there's going to be a few, just like NBA and NFL. There's always going to be a handful in there where you're like, it's on the line, but it won't kill you to have them in there.
Well,
so.
let me put it this way for Flawless, and you might want to hold on. You might cry tears of joy here. I was talking to Andrew, and he said the checklist on Flawless is small. It's because it's not going to be printed a ton. It's small, and the names are all really good. He told me what his worst autos in the set were, and I almost fell out of my seat.
Well, can you share one of them?
Yeah, he said like his bottom of the barrel low end autos that are in Flawless are Austin Hill.
Wow.
Caliber.
Okay.
Like those are.
I like it, Bobby Hill. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He said like Austin Hill and Jesse Love are two of your bottom barrel names.
So your your top end drivers and no apps, like your high end boys from no apps is your cutoff. It sounds like. I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
You might get you might get like Elaine Riggs, who's really good, but like it ends there basically.
Oh sure, I'm sure Corey Heim will make his way into Flawless. There's no reason for Heim not to be a type deal. I'm excited. I'm so pumped, man, for Flaw. Like this, you've confirmed it. That's really the biggest. I do have my FOMO is off the charts now for not going this year. Though I will have to say I'm a bit jelly, but also very happy that you got all this info. I'm very very pumped that you were able to take the time and do that. So. Wow, what a sweet treat. Now with Flawless, the only thing I think that could make Flawless better than what I think it could already be is if I could maybe hit a 1-of-1 Richard Petty without the STP cowboy hat picture, or perhaps a newer photo or a different photo of Petty. Kind of like Press Pass changed it every single release, or perhaps maybe a different photo of Kyle Larson not standing there with his number one finger up type deal. I don't know. I feel like maybe Flawless will open the door to more event type cards or different pictures of the drivers. That would really be my only hope.
Yeah, I can touch on this a little bit. I'm going to touch first on the photo front, and then remind me to come back to some like insert sets of Flawless that'll jog my memory. I want to kind of just, for people who don't know how the photo process worked, he explained to me how the photo process works. And to be quite upfront, a lot of the issues and concerns people have with photos aren't necessarily on Panini. Because as he explained to me, at the end of the day, all of the teams have to approve of the photos that are used.
Sure.
Which is why you get a lot of these same photos, because teams want to use these certain photos on guys. So like he's mentioned, like there are plenty of times where they'll try to use different photos, but they just get denied by the team for whatever reason. A good random example he gave, and some of the drivers have input on this as well. Like apparently, when they were talking to Kyle Busch this year before he passed, they were like, Kyle said something of like, yeah, like I want, like for whatever reason, like whenever I look at my cards when I sign them, I'm always frowning. So I want to try to include more photos of me smiling this year. So like, there's just like random stuff like that where like some of it's just outside of Panini's control. But that said, he said that they've taken notice on feedback on different photos, and
that's awesome. Well, that's cool. This guy seems to have 6 sets of ears and one mouth. This is fantastic.
And then one of the big, this is kind of a two-parter here because I'm going to segue into something else. Is he mentioned, I know one of the insert sets that's in Flawless. He shared it with multiple people there, so I feel fine explaining it. I believe it's going to be called Flawless Finishes. Is what the insert set autos are going to be. And Flawless let me see if that's the right name. Yeah, Flawless Finishes. And what Flawless Finishes are are gonna be like photos of like drivers who had like the finish, like they had won the race. So it's photos of the drivers after winning races. Um, I'll give you two
Nice.
examples. He told me two examples of cards that are coming out in the set that I can then I'll segue after. One of the ones that is coming is a Terry Labonte from winning the '03 Southern 500 of him in the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes car with him with like the hand out the window holding the checkered flag as he crosses the finish line after
Sick.
burnouts. So he's getting one. And then this one's big news to me. I'm also segueing. They signed Bubba to stuff again, so there's going to be a Bubba Brickyard 400 one of him crossing the bricks.
Good. Well, they probably, good for Bubba. I bet he got a little taste of the upper deck money and was like, I need to get back with Panini on this. I bet when they came calling, that was hopefully he was like, okay, I need to get back on track with this. I love that.
Put it this way, and people can interpret this as they will, because I'm not gonna dive into all of this because I'm tired of going into this. A lot of the reason why Bubba was not in auto sets over the last few years was because of biases within Panini and who they wanted to go into and try to sign for contracts. And
well, it doesn't surprise me one bit. It doesn't surprise me one bit.
The people who were running Panini before the flawless release did not were not fans of Bubba and did not want to go assign him to contracts.
Huh,
so
interesting.
So after Andrew took over, I'm diving into signers. Some of his first moves were as he went and he got Bubba and Reddick. I think Reddick is just kind of packaged with Bubba. Reddick still might be signing. I haven't checked if he's signing for Panini. But,
yeah.
He went and he got Bubba on a new contract. A lot of it's gonna be like less stickers. It's gonna be a lot of on card stuff at least, like
good.
higher end sets.
Good.
Because it's easier to get them to sign just less cards like that. He went and they re-upped Chase Elliott. So Chase Elliott is back on a deal with Panini. He said they're close to working out a deal with Ty Gibbs. Yeah, the Ty Gibbs one is interesting because part of that is on the condition that he has to go back and fulfill all of his old stuff that he hasn't signed yet.
That kid's gonna be signing for 6 months.
But apparently, for what it's worth, Andrew said they're close.
Hey, I'm in. If they can get him back, hey, Alicia, if you're listening, hey, that's your boy. Tell him to get that pen out. That would be huge. That'd be very exciting.
So then the one, I'll end it here just being as transparent. The one downer he mentioned is that no Blaney in the upcoming year.
Really?
And he was it's not that Panini has a bad relationship. They have a great relationship with Blaney. They went to go renew a deal somewhat similar to Bubba's, where like Blaney said he didn't want to sign as much, and then Panini said, "Okay, it's fine. We'll like tone it down, put you on card." But he went to Blaney personally reached out to Panini and said, "Hey, look, like it's nothing with you guys. I'm signing so much right now that I just need a break from signing." And like, come to me in 6 months, come to me in a year, and like I'm sure we'll be happy to. I'll do something again with you guys, but just for this time right now, which also is not a shock. He's like,
hey, you know what? That's fair.
He's a 1-year-old kid. Like he's a 1-year-old kid.
I was just gonna say he's got a lot more things to handle, and let's be honest, he's been signing since 2013. So
and his whole thing was like, he's like, I'm signing so much. Give me some time not to sign, and we'll come back in a year and we'll talk a contract in the future.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll still be memorabilia and other cards to chase for you Blaney fans out there. So don't sweat it.
He'll be in the sets.
Good. That's a respectable decision though versus having a contract and saying I refuse to sign. There's two different things for those.
Like I said, and he made it.
I like that.
It was a personal decision by Blaney, and that it's not against Panini.
Hey, good for him because he could have. Hey, listen, he could have easily taken the money, said no problem, and then not signed shit for a year like some of these other guys. So props to him for just being upfront. I think that's an A-OK move. That also frees up Panini to then use resources and funds for other items, which is great. So that's a big W for Blaney. God, we all love that guy. So that's fantastic. So they're going after him. They're getting an opportunity, maybe new photos, new renewed contracts, which is great. Glad to see Bubba got back in the ring. I always thought there was something going on there because I mean, it's Bubba. How can you not have him in the product? But what are you gonna do? And then I guess with all this talk all these new signers coming back and these new drivers. How confident was Mr. Andrew on being able to get product fulfilled in the boxes versus having to have us scratch a code and redeem things, i.e., redemptions? Was he
I didn't.
open about that, or?
I'll be honest. I didn't dive into the redemptions.
Fair enough. Okay, I was just curious, and maybe you went there.
I mean, I mentioned, and like I think he kind of. I'm gonna say I brought this up is that I think a lot of the stuff surrounding redemptions from like people on Facebook is kind of ridiculous. Like I think redemptions are a natural part of things.
Well,
Now
sure.
he mentioned one of the things that he wants to work on is getting them to sign quicker. He like mentioned that as a thing, but he was very transparent that like they're just like they're gonna have to be there in some releases, and like his goal is he wants to try to set up working deals. Like he said, like ideally, like if it's his way, like redemptions are going to live probably more in the lower end product if possible because he wants everything to be alive in the higher end stuff, but obviously he can't guarantee that.
Well,
But
sure, sure.
I didn't dive into redemptions a ton because
Well,
I
it sounds
wanted
like he
to
knows what he's doing, and that's an okay philosophy to have. I think that's fine. I mean, redemptions are part of the hobby. It is what they're not going anywhere, obviously. But it sounds like this guy is on top of getting things signed at some point and not just letting it sit in a drawer for 4 years either. So
yeah, I'm also he mentioned he didn't mention this to me, but I read this on Facebook, so I should bring it up. He's well aware of the Panini. He is maybe not well aware, but he's aware of what's going on with Panini Awards.
oh,
Like
good.
your Panini points. He said like he doesn't necessarily like have any influence in that stuff, but he's marked it down as something to consider or work on going forward.
Fantastic. That'd be great. Even what would be cool. You know how like they do the private signings for like baseball and basketball, and then like use those as filler autos for all their product, and then make them rewards as well. I'd love something like that for us. I'd be okay with a generic, just a Panini signing session, not from any set or release or whatever. If they just and it could be stickers. I'm cool with that too. Just give us something along. It would be I'd be a-okay with that in my 29,000 points that I've had sitting there. So
Yeah.
that would be cool. That would be cool. Wow, that's some fantastic information. Man, I didn't expect to hear all this tonight, but wow. So you got some cool pickups. You saw some friends. You met Andrew, which sounds like probably is I would say is one of the highlights there. Makes me even more excited for what's to come. My FOMO is off the charts, of course. I wish I could have made it out there. It just wasn't in the books for me this year. But man, Flawless, IMAC, Track Kings. I'm very excited to hear about all that. And then, of course, the driver changes and all these beautiful, beautiful things coming. It sounds like, to quote the old regime, the new regime is going to put things back to the way they should be, which we've all been yearning for. Man, if we get Chronicles back, I will be. The Chronicles for me has so many positives. The number of packs, the way the product's put together, number of hits, how it's easy to sort from a breaking standpoint, from a collecting standpoint. I love Chronicles. I'm a Chronicles hoe, and a Prism hoe as well. So yes.
With Chronicles that I mentioned the idea of potentially trying to put old sets like Torque and Absolute in.
Hell yeah, absolutely. I would love, man. I love it.
I mentioned that. I said it's probably unrealistic. Like, and I also am on the record. I'm not the biggest fans of Torque Certified and Absolute, but I mentioned those would be great starts for a Chronicle set.
Be fantastic. Yeah. We got a small taste of just the regular Torque autos in 2023, but we didn't get the patch autos or the big boys, and I feel like that was coming next. It just got shut off. That'd be so good. It'd be very, very good. I love it. Well, any other special tidbits or stories or anything else, non-Panini related or just national related you want to share with everybody?
Oh, I just realized I was muted. Sorry. The big thing
good.
that and I think this is a good thing to end on. The big thing, and he mentioned that first I'm going to say that they're always trying to work on a deal with the Earnhardt estate, and if they finally get a deal with that Earnhardt will go in. I just want to say that as like an obvious kind of they're working on it and they're well aware of getting Earnhardt Jr. in.
Good.
The big thing that he mentioned to me, and this is what really like got me excited, is he made it a point to me that I don't want to say is going to put the pressure on NASCAR, but like is going to raise this to be a bigger issue and like actually make this a point to NASCAR of photo usage. And
Good.
and what I talk about with photo usage, and you'll understand very quickly, is he says he personally does not. He has an issue with the photos and the licensing in the sense that they can use like on for Kyle Busch, they can use BetMGM, they can use tobacco, and they can use all these photos, but they can't use alcohol photos.
Really?
And I say this to say that he wants to work with NASCAR in a way for the high end sets. If there is a way, because he understands the implications of the alcohol with kids, like understanding that. But if there's a way to include alcohol sponsorship stuff in high end, like
Oh man.
because he mentioned like for example, what that would mean Ross Chastain Busch Light autos.
Yes.
It would mean, and he said his dream card he wants to make is the Pepsi 400 Budweiser Dale Senior car. That's what he said he's working on, what the ultimate goal is. So, and he said obviously he understands the issues and he doesn't even know if it's possible, but he said he's making it.
Well, at this point, there's so much gambling in the hobby. Nobody should be worrying about an alcohol on a card, a photo on a card. To be honest,
and he said if they have to put something like "Please enjoy responsibly" or what,
yeah, give me a disclaimer on the back. I'm in. I'll read it out loud in the break. Fuck it.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, like he's like we're fine to do that if we can get alcohol sponsorships, but he was like. What he said is like that opens the door for us to use, get Blue Deuce Rusty Wallace, go get Miller High Life Rusty, go get Blue Deuce Kurt. He wants to get Sterling Marlin. Maybe he doesn't know if he can get
the Silver Bullet would be so sick.
Silver Bullet. He doesn't know if he can get Sterling to sign with Parkinson's, obviously, but
getting
the Silver Bullet in.
Let the man auto pen. Fuck it. I'd be so in for that. Oh my god. Oh, that would be so good. I never realized that was such an issue for them, but I hope NASCAR wises up, because if they're putting pot companies and nicotine companies and booze companies on the cars in the track, the little 8-year-olds get to see it there just like they might see it popping out of a blaster, right? But if you put it in the high-end products and it's not going to be on the shelf at Target where little Timmy's going to reach for it, the chances of them, I like that thought process, and I'm okay with that. Give us those and put them in there. I'm in.
If it's potentially not in a retail SKU with labels, so that they can potentially come to a solution.
Sure. Yeah, just hide it in a product, deep in a checklist. I'm in. A nice little surprise. I like it.
I touched on photos. Actually, this is touching on this as well with that last thing is and I'm going to speak very blunt and practically. The way that things are set up right now is don't ever expect, like in a current release, to get Denny Hamlin FedEx sponsorship, or expect current guys to get old photos and sets because the teams won't approve them. Like he mentioned, he wanted to get put in the flawless finishes. He wanted to put one of the Denny with FedEx stuff.
Couldn't they work it in like a throwback photo like they've done?
They won't. They can't. The sponsors will not sign off on photos of the driver or the cars of sponsors they are not, like, for example, like they'll sign off on Progressive, but they won't do FedEx right now. He said now the second they retire, that's different because they are a retired person and they can do that.
Interesting.
But he also did this, like, I asked this funny use case question of like Kurt Busch because like he's technically with 2311, but he was like, oh no, like I'm able to use a Sharpie Kurt Busch that's coming out in a set coming up in the future. So like once they're retired, it's different. But as long as a driver is active, those cards in the sets will be 99% with the active sponsors because the teams have to sign off on them.
Interesting. Still kind of whack, but I get it. I
just wanted to just be. That's how it's.
No, that's great. That's great information.
You're not going to get FedEx Denny until he retires.
Interesting. I'm curious what's going on with Petty then. I would love to see Richard and his group release the photo bin. I know there's a few pictures of that guy lying around, so hopefully they can get something worked out there. I'd love to see some more, just more variety. I mean, there's literally, Press Pass must have had 60 photos of the guy over 20 sets, and now we've got 4 photos over the last 10 years. So hopefully they can get something worked out. But that's great. That's great info, man. I love it. I love it.
I will say there are a few exceptions to that rule. Like he mentioned that I don't know if it's in the flawless finishes set, so I'm not going to say it is, but like you can occasionally get them under the right circumstances.
Like if it's just the car?
Not just a car. You can get the driver under the, like, I'll give you the example and you'll understand what I mean by this. They were able to get a Chase Briscoe Haas, his Phoenix first win.
Oh, okay.
So like he was saying that was incredibly tough. And the reason is it's tough is because, like, sure, like Gibbs will sign off. It's one of those, like, Gibbs will sign off on him being in the set, but they don't want him to be in the Mahindra. But then they'll go they'll go to Haas, and Haas will say, "Oh, we're fine with Mahindra, but like he's not driving for us anymore, so like I don't, like it's
do what you want."
They don't have a ton of say,
right?
And eventually, apparently, they got a one-off sign off on this, so deals can be done, but just like don't expect like Danny FedEx. Like you can maybe get away with it on something here and there, but like 99% of the time, it's not.
You know what I thought would be a real cool idea to pitch to someone? Andrew seems like the kind of guy that would maybe listen to this and get the gist of it. You know how in like football, there's like the main photo, the like concourse, they're like 3 levels of photos, like concourse, suite level, and field level or whatever. Yeah, right. Or even Prism, you have like the main photo and then like a horizontal, then they have a variation photo. I've always thought it would be cool to have and I think flawless would be the way to do it for all the base cards, is like have like when we do, like when Reddick and Bubba, they do the Star Wars cars, right? The one-off liveries and the one-off suits. You'd make that
licensing is impossible.
Right, but if they could pitch it the right way, and that's just me thinking out loud of a certain suit combo. You could take anybody's one-off, right? Like do a Noah Gregson Grillos, Pickles, whatever. But just make it like a 1 of 1 or out of 5, a super short printed variation, or don't even number them, just make it an extremely hard pull. That for me is something I've always wanted to have in a high end set. Just like like a fire suit variation, or like a livery variation of something where it's just the driver or the car, on something unique. But now that you told me about the alcohol thing, I didn't realize that. And of course the Star Wars with the tops. I'd be surprised though, because I think it was Columbia that did the cars, and it wasn't really a Star Wars technically wrap. So I'm wondering if there'd be a way around it. You know what I mean?
It's Columbia, but it was in collaboration with Star Wars.
Right. So there's at some point somebody's willing to cross a T and dot an I, I'm sure, somewhere. So I don't know. But Andrew sounds like the man that could get it done. Definitely not something Big Mish could ever accomplish, I'll tell you that much. But Andrew sounds like the guy who's got a plan and has a pen and is willing to get on a plane and make something happen. So God love him. I'm excited to see what we have coming the rest of this year. And then, of course, for next year is... Man, it's going to be good. Between this and Parkside, man, we're going to be busy the next 6 months. Good Lord. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. I can't wait at all. You got any last words for everybody?
Nothing really. If anybody, they can reach me. They can ask me more questions.
Yeah, I got your Instagram in the main photo here. It'll be in the description down below. But as always, I know we're not consistent with uploading, but when we do, we bring you the best information, the newest information, and accurate information for you to get excited about the NASCAR trading card hobby and everything that is NASCARs. So if you have any questions, leave us a comment. You can reach us on Instagram and Facebook, of course, State 48 Sports Cards, Pioneer Sport Cards, and then State 48 Breaks on Instagram for myself. So have a wonderful day, evening, or afternoon whenever you're listening to this. If you made it this far, thank you. 2 brownie points for you and a gold star, of course. But as always, we appreciate you listening to our rambling, and we will see you in the next one.